One of the biggest questions right now that people are asking about fitness is, can you build muscle at home? And I'm going to answer that question in this video. Hey there, it's Fahad here from TFF Fitness and Fit with Fahad, and one of the biggest questions people are asking right now in the fitness industry is, how can you build muscle at home? Now, if you are watching this quite close to the time I upload it, then you'll know that what we're going through right now is the whole coronavirus pandemic, the whole lockdown situation. Gyms are closed for the foreseeable future, and people are struggling to get a good workout in, if I'm being honest with you. Now, at the beginning, what I noticed was people were really logging into home workouts online, and now it's sort of like tapered off a little bit because people aren't seeing results. Partly to blame for this is the amount of rubbish that's on the internet about these workouts and that workout that are going to help you build muscle from home. They completely missed the point. Now, I got asked a question the other day from a lady on how she can get results from home to build a booty and get the core stronger. Okay, so I started doing a little bit of research on what's available out there. And other than the clickbaity thumbnails that were clearly designed for horny teenagers, I mean, seriously, ladies, do you really want to click on a thumbnail like this? It was interesting, to say the least. I saw some very, shall we say, semi-pornographic videos that were purporting to be helpful videos. And again, I don't know if this is what women want to see. I know some of the comments from the guys were saying that, yeah, great, you know, like, this is amazing. I got my hands got a great workout from this. Anyway, so let's just examine one quick clip here. Now, as you can see, we're going to discuss the mechanics of how to build muscle in a moment, but this person's clearly not doing it. We're going to come back to this video at the end of my discussion on the mechanics of building muscle, and then we can talk about what she's doing wrong. Now, when we talk about building muscle, we have to understand one word, okay? And that word is hypertrophy. Muscular hypertrophy. So what hypertrophy is? It's a very fancy word that basically means building muscle. Okay, simply put that. The opposite of hypertrophy is atrophy. Okay, so if you've got muscular atrophy, you're losing muscle. If you've got muscular hypertrophy, you're building muscle. So once you understand that, you then have to understand there's something called the mechanics of hypertrophy. In other words, there are three things that need to occur when you're training in order to stimulate the muscle building response. The first thing you need is tension, mechanical tension or mechanical stress. What this is basically resistance. So you've got to basically put your muscles under some form of resistance by lifting something that's heavy. If I do this, I'm not going to build muscle. If I put a dumbbell in my hand that's heavy and I lift it with good form, I'm going to build muscle. Now, when you talk about tension, one thing you have to understand is muscle grows with time under tension. And there's an acronym in the industry called TUT. TUT stands for time under tension. In other words, you don't want to just quickly do reps like this. Okay? That's not going to build your muscle much. You need to be nice and controlled. You want to be 3 to 4, 5 to 6 seconds of each rep. So to build muscle, you want about 4 seconds to 6 seconds on average per rep. There are two phases to the movement. There's the shortening of the muscle, that's called the concentric phase, and there's the lengthening of the muscle, that's called the eccentric phase. There's actually the isometric phase as well, where you sort of like hold it in place. You want to basically spend more time in the eccentric phase than in the concentric phase. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail as to why, but in the next part of this video, in the next part of the second principle of muscular hypertrophy, I'll explain it. Okay, so to recap, you need mechanical tension. You need to put your muscles under tension in the full range of that motion of that muscle, the full active range of motion in that muscle. So again, if I just do half reps like this, that's not going to build the muscle. If I do a full range of motion exercise like this, you're going to get that full contraction, and you're going to put the muscle in the full mechanical potential throughout the full range of motion. Okay. The second thing you need to build muscle when it comes to working the muscle out, the second principle of the mechanics of hypertrophy, is you need muscular damage. Okay. So have you ever had a workout and you felt sore a day or two afterwards? That soreness is called DONS or DOMS, which stands for delayed onset muscle soreness. Now what happens to your muscle is you get tiny micro tears in the fibers. The response by the body is an inflammatory response, so that the body then can go to recover and heal the muscles. That's why you get that soreness, that's why you get that, if you touch the muscle, it's tender. All right, so you get that inflammatory response. Now, going back to the first principle, when we talk about the concentric and eccentric phase, the reason you want to be a little bit longer in the eccentric phase is where most of that muscular damage occurs. Okay, so we want to damage the muscle. Now, we don't want to, when we say damage the muscle, we're not talking about tearing muscles and being stupid and damaging it from a bad point of view where you end up in physiotherapy. We're talking about those microfiber tears. So your body, your muscle fibers are like two sheets that go across like this, and they've got things in the middle called sarcomeres, and basically the filaments and all that kind of like slide together to contract the muscle. Okay, so it's really complicated, but just understand that you want to basically damage those fibers in the muscle. Okay, the last principle is metabolic stress or metabolic load. Now, have you ever done a set of exercises and you start feeling that burn? Okay, what happens is when you start to do reps, okay, your blood starts to pool, you get into a state called hypoxia, which is lack of oxygen, and then your body releases different chemicals which cause that burning sensation. Now, when you have that metabolic stress there, that metabolic tension and that waste products of metabolites, as we call them, that stimulates these mTOR pathways to start rebuilding the muscles. So you need to have all three of those things in place in order to build muscle. Now, so if you want to build muscle from home, you still have to have mechanical tension, muscular damage, and metabolic stress. How do we do that from home? We still need to create resistance. And there are various ways to create resistance. You can use body weight, you can use bands, you can use weights, or you can use heavy objects. Whichever you decide to do, you've got to make sure that you follow those three principles: mechanical tension, muscular damage, metabolic stress. Okay, so let me give you an example. So let's say we come to my favorite piece of equipment here, the cable stack machine. And unless you're really lucky to have one at home, how can we do something like this at home without having a cable stack machine? So let's stick to the glutes, for example, okay? Rather than doing things like the weird stuff that you see on the videos, let's do a proper glute building exercise. Let's do something like a Romanian deadlift. So I'm gonna put some good amount of tension on here, okay? Now, I wanna get my form right. From here, drive my hips forward, squeeze my glutes. My eccentric movement is going down, so 3, 2, 1, squeeze the glutes, drive my hips forward. And I want to basically get to the point where I get that burn feeling, that fatigue. I really want to fatigue the muscle as much as possible. So this is a big tip I'll give you if you're working out from home and you want to build muscle. Whatever piece of equipment you're using, try to basically get to that point of fatigue within 8 to 10 reps. You've got to squeeze hard, you've got to slow down the movements, you've got to put as much mechanical tension on that muscle as possible to create that muscular damage. So how do we do that at home? Well, let's see what we can come up with here. So resistance bands are something I would definitely recommend you do for training from home. These aren't that expensive, they're very portable. You can pick them up for about £10 on Amazon. And listen guys, even after you're finished with this whole lockdown situation, you're back in the gym, these are very useful to use in the gym as well. So let's try this. if I wrap this around the base of the machine, you can just wrap it around the base of a banister or something like that. Okay, I've now created that same amount of tension, so I can go down in that deadlift position here, squeeze, drive forward, 3, 2, 1, and up, squeeze, and squeeze. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm mimicking the same motion that I'm doing with my training in the gym, or what I see, or what I share online with weights, with something like a resistance band. If you don't have a resistance band and you're too impatient to go on Amazon Prime and order one for tomorrow, you know, you can use something heavy like a vacuum cleaner or a rucksack full of heavy books or something. So for example, you can get a bag, fill it up with something heavy, and do the same motion, making sure you get that mechanical tension. Okay, so that being said, let's say you want to build a booty at home, okay, and you watch a video like this. Is she giving much time under tension? Probably not. Is she getting metabolic muscular damage? Maybe a little bit, but if there's more time under tension, like I said, in the eccentric phase of the exercise, she'd probably get better muscular damage. And what about the metabolic stress? Maybe she's probably feeling a little bit of a burn. Obviously, there's going to be fatigue there from a sort of endurance point of view, but is that enough? Is that gonna give you all 3 parts of the formula to create good growth in those muscles? Probably not. So that's why I have a gripe with some of these online trainers who put out these videos. I mean, yeah, they look great, I'm not gonna lie. They've got great assets, they've got great muscles, they've got great tone, they've got great butts, but I'll give you one piece of advice and I'll give you one thing that will expose them all. Those butts, those muscles, all of that, they were built in the gym, okay? If they've got nice muscles, they're either very, very genetically blessed or they work very hard in the gym. So, if this has made sense to you, watch my videos in my training playlist, in my glute training playlist, apply the principles you've learnt today, and you'll be able to grow your muscles at home properly. Now, there's a couple of other things that are important in the whole muscle building process as well. There's good nutrition. You want to make sure you're getting good nutrition, plenty of protein, and you want to make sure you're getting good amounts of rest and sleep, okay? But today's video, I just wanted to talk about the actual training element because of all the rubbish out there. And I've seen some training videos of people making, people do box jumps and all sorts of crazy stuff. And great, but most people can't do that. It's bad for most people's joints, okay? So you gotta be very careful what you see online. The trainer on the video is trying to put something out there that's gonna get views, potentially doing workouts that they do. I saw a video by Mark Wright the other day. He's very popular right now because the BBC are really plugging him. And he's in great shape. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he's got phenomenal musculature, but again, that was built in the gym. That was clearly built in the gym, not in his garden. Okay, so don't be disillusioned thinking you can build a body like Mark Wright in your garden without the right amount of equipment and without the right knowledge about how to build muscle. Okay, so if you like this video, if you got value from it, please leave me a comment below. Tell me what you learned from it. If there are any videos you'd like me to make or any techniques you'd like me to show, again, please leave a comment below. Please subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so you get my videos. I put regular videos up now, almost daily at the moment, and I want to basically help you simplify your fat loss journey. Have a great day, sweat more, suck less, stay awesome.